Hello everyone and welcome back to all my subscribers, and if you're not a subscriber, what is wrong with you? Right. Today I wanted to go through some language learning material. Now, frequently people want to learn a language and it's an expensive thing to do if you have to pay for courses, pay for textbooks, pay for tutoring, it just racks up the money. And so I'm always on the lookout for free or cheap resources. So I generally go into charity shops and things and try and buy books or look online. And one of the places that I've looked recently is the Internet Archive. Now, if you follow along the channel as a whole, you'll see that I've done a few series of Internet Archives talking about computer related stuff and programming and things. But recently I had a look through there for language materials, and there is a plethora of stuff. And a lot of it is loaned out and you have to borrow it, but there's a significant amount of this stuff that it's actually just free and you can just download it and use it because it's public domain. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's not a modern textbook, if it's from the 1950s or whatever. But honestly, if you're learning French, the French language hasn't changed that much in the last 50 years. You know, like English, it doesn't really change that much. You get some slang, new words or whatever, but the actual structure of the language hasn't really changed. So I just wanted to walk you through some of the stuff that I saw on the Internet Archive. So I did a simple search for just language stuff and language learning, and I looked for text only. There is actually software and audio and all sorts of stuff, and I ticked the always available, which basically means you can just download it. You don't have to borrow it or lend it out or anything like that. Um, so if we look here, like this is the Oda language, which is from India, and this is completely free. You can just download this and start to use it to learn, and it's got the words and the pronunciation and the writing and all of that sort of good stuff in there, and you don't actually need to pay for this. And this would be something that would be really extremely hard to find here in the UK, certainly. This isn't something I'm going to come across in a charity shop. It's more likely if I want to learn this language, I'm going to have to special order something. But I can get it for free here. Now, along with that, a lot of people just learning what we call the FIGS language: French, Italian, German, or Spanish. Um, and there's a load of French resources there. And a lot of this is pretty modern. Publication date 2000, because you get a lot of stuff that's from government publications, and so they're completely free for you to take and to use. And they're really quite good textbooks, modern, you know. So it's worth having a look for these sorts of things. Now, having said that, there is a lot of stuff that is quite a bit older, 1906. But honestly, the language has not changed that much that it's going to be a problem for you. Now, this is Portuguese, obviously. This is not French, but the point here is the same, that you can get free resources that you can just use and to learn. I mean, this is a textbook, and it was used, well, if it was published in 1906, it was probably used all the way up until the end of the Second World War, I would imagine. So it's all there for you to look at. Now, admittedly, some of these older textbooks are a lot more information dense than you get in the sort of modern stuff, which is both good and bad. From a learner's point of view, there's a lot of information. It's great, but it's also potentially difficult to read and difficult to understand because it's so information dense. But uh, you can't beat the price, basically. So if we look at some of the older um, French ones, I mean, this is 1860, but Dupin, d'Argent, it's not changed. These are the same words you're going to use today. Un homme, une femme. It's the same words you're going to learn if you buy a brand new modern textbook. Yes, you're not going to have computers, les ordinateurs. You're not going to have that sort of thing. But for basic conversations, you know, this is going to get you 95% of the way. So, and there are many of these, right, that were written or produced around this time. So you can just find tons of information and loads of free stuff. So this one, 1874. So there is just I just wanted to show you that, like, there is a significant amount of French textbooks that you can find and use for free on the Internet Archive. There's also Italian. You know, I went through this. Again, it was published a while back. Italian may have changed more than French, to be honest, but even so, a significant amount of this, 80 or 90% of it, is still relevant and still going to work. And yes, it's not going to have modern computers and, you know, other sort of modern conveniences in here. It's not going to talk about Facebook or Instagram or any of that, but it'll get you the start on the language. And also there's Japanese, you know, so it's not just European languages. There's a significant amount of exercises, textbooks, and other, you know, materials available for many other languages. So it's well worth having a look through the Internet Archive to see what sort of free, you know, sort of materials you can get. And there's just tons of books here to read. And there's just tons of books here for you to read. Now, having said that, you might want to look also for things that are not just text, but, for example, you can do searches for audio and other media types. So if we go to the advanced search, you know, the media types, you can look for audio. I haven't actually done this search yet, but I suspect there's going to be a fair few amounts of things. Right. So the LibriVox collections, there's Lakota, so Native American languages, Arabic, English, lots of Lakota here, looks like, radio. So there's just tons of audio as well as text, and video is available as well. Now the video is not as much, obviously, but there are a significant amount of videos on here as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of information available on the Internet Archive for a language learner, and you can use this free material. You know, make sure you tick things that are marked as always available so that you get the free materials. And you can use this stuff to dip into a language and check it out and see if you really want to do it, or just give yourself a head start before you start spending money on tutors and classes, you know, and textbooks and all the sort of paraphernalia that you need to learn a language. So check out the Internet Archive. It's a great and very useful resource. If you like these sort of videos, please share it around, like, and subscribe. All right. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.